Hey, what's going on, knife nerds? Got the Vosteed Corsair here. I'm going to do a disassembly and reassembly video. I'm going to show you guys what to do, what not to do. At least something you guys can follow along if you guys are unsure of how to navigate through this thing. Maybe you guys want to adjust the springs. Maybe you guys want to do some maintenance. Maybe you guys just want to explore this knife of yours. Because, man, it's really nice. I like it. The action's good. Yeah, what do you guys think? I think it looks really nice. I really like the blade profile. Ergonomics are great too. Clip works perfectly. I don't feel that at all. Just melts right into my palm. I think anybody with larger hands might feel this corner right here. Yeah, if I back up a bit, yeah, it's there. But it's still done pretty well. I think it's taller than the other ones before. A lot more room for my fingers. And it's great for a crossbar lock, because that's where I get all my control. That's where my base is. Really like this piece. I think the blade's 3 1/4. Yeah, I really like it. Nitro V. Super slicey. Yeah, that thing's sharp. Never got a Vosteed that wasn't sharp. Alright, let's go ahead and take this guy apart. So, brought some paper. It's my trusty tool for my Vosteeds. And while we put it back together, I'm gonna put on this spacer and this screw cover thingy, clip cover, whatever it's called. I'm not really a lanyard guy, but hey, I just want to put it on anyways, just so you guys can see. All right, get that full build. All right, let's get it going. T6s all around, except for the body. Except for the pivot. Start with that. Alright, my pivot screws on the show side. Unfortunately, this model, you can only access this side by opening up this side. So we have to basically take apart the whole knife just to access the springs on this side to adjust. But, oh well. It's okay with me. It's like adult Legos. Nice little fun thing to do. Alright. Here we go. Nice and clean. Mine came pretty oiled. Alright. That spring came off. Pam. Let's wipe this down a bit. Alright, so this would be my second time taking it apart, so it's not as oily as it came. This thing was drenched. You can see the scales still have a lot of that oil in there. Also be this light right here. Nice blue, I like it. That's why I opted for it, because I don't have this blue. I have a lot of the black micartas, greens. Alright, so but what do we need to do? We're gonna take this whole thing apart, but I want you guys to know that, see, we can't even get to this spring without taking this thing apart. And let's say you want to not take this whole thing apart and you just want to access these springs. Well, I'm gonna show you guys what to do. You're gonna need to have something to supplement the pivot right there. All right. So, where this piece of paper comes in handy. Alright, so let's get it rolled up. So you can start like with the fat roll, and then you can start rolling it down. You just want the paper to start curling, and then it'll be much easier. Sometimes doing a back and forth motion. And get it tight, nice and tight. So the thing with this paper, you don't need one this long. This one's actually too long, so I'm gonna have to rip some off. That's what's good with paper too. You can make it to size quickly and easily. Alright, so let's put that aside. Let's actually tuck it under a scale so it doesn't unravel too much. Alright, so I'm gonna pull this a bit, and then let me zoom up. I'm gonna push that out. So now pulling this lock back, it really relieved a lot of the pressure against that pivot, right? So now I can easily push that out about that much, and now this is where I'm going to bring in my roll paper. Let's tighten it up some. So now I'm going to use this guy to just push it out. Be careful, okay? You don't want that thing to swing back on you. So I'm going to keep my finger right there like that. See that? Boop. Easy. Let's lock it back. So like this, with the bar in, the blade is pretty much locked in. It's not the strongest because of the paper, but at least it got a bit of safety right now. So now you want to take these screws off. Alright, so I like to hold the blade like that, just to kind of have control, and then just have the body rest on my hand. Alright, so be mindful of these screws. Alright, I'm just going to set it aside. Alright, so now you got access to this side. It's a lot of work just to get there, right? At least stock, I like the setting already right in the middle, so I didn't really need to take this thing apart. I just did it so I could show you guys, and at the same time I want to install this stuff. Alright, okay, alright, cool. So I'm going to take everything apart just so you guys can see. So see that tube holding everything there? It works like a charm. Alright, so whoops. So let's unhook that spring. Let's pull that bar out, and take a look. I'm always holding onto that blade just so that it doesn't swing down too, okay? Be mindful of that. So especially now that the bar is out, the blade is kind of free flowing, and this body, the liners are being held together just by this spacer and the stopper, right, or the stop pin right here. Let's turn that around. You see that? So this thing can kind of fall apart anytime. Watch. Luckily that stop pin got some grip. Bam. Alright. So let's pull this guy out. Set him aside. Alright. So let's tidy everything up. Get these screws out so you guys can see. Oops. Let's use this guy. Alright, so let's put everything next to each other just so that it's nice and neat. Kind of keep you going step by step almost. Alright, Boom. Alright, and alright, so I'm not missing anything. Good. Now let's get the extra goodies out. Careful, okay? You don't want to just pour this bag out and lose everything, because it's got this little pin that goes in there, right? These screws, they're for this little plate. I think these are, you can easily use the other ones, or you can just use it without it, but to use the spacer, you would need that pin just so that it doesn't swing around. So be careful with that pin, you don't want to lose that. Alright, let's put that all together. Boom. You guys got that family pick? Alright, let's get everything nice and set aside. Alright, good. Alright. You guys ready? Let's see if I can properly show you guys how to do this before the sun sets and there's no more light. This is all natural lighting, so we're running out of time. Alright, so let's get this side. I didn't take this off because it's in there pretty good and I don't want to mess with it. Could be Loctited in, I don't know. So you want to get this roll back in there. Gotta tilt it like that just so that it doesn't fall out. The washer first, then the blade. Yeah. Oh, not, did I say washer? I meant bearing. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna hold it like that. Nice and safe. So this thing's not going anywhere, and I have a nice grip between the two. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to put this liner on. Okay. So get this spacer on. I think you can kind of just hold it like that. Slide that over the top. Okay. Alright, so be careful, okay? Nothing's screwed in. This blade is flopping around. So the next move is to kind of secure the blade. You want to put the bar in, okay? So let me show you guys real quick. So everything is in. The spacer's nice and straight. Alright, see that? So yeah, this stop pin is kind of the MVP. It's got enough grip to hold everything in before we need to start screwing things on. Alright, so next I'm gonna have to put on this bar. So let me zoom up closely to show you guys this bar. See those cutouts right there? That's for the spring. So that's where you're gonna want to attach the spring, okay? That's not a track for the line or anything. So make sure I'm keeping the blade, the sharp end up, just so then it stays open and it's not flopping around, okay? So I'm gonna slide it in. All right. So now this is gonna be locking the blade. Once it's up in the forward position, it's lock the blade. It's locking the blade in from closing. Well, as much as it can. This thing's not that strong, so it's kind of loose, but you get my drift, right? All right, cool. Next is the spring. Now, can you guys remember which side we were working on? It would be not the show side, but the clip side, righty clip side, okay? So I'm gonna put it on, whoops. That thing fell out. There we go. Let's put the spring, oops, there. Let's put the spring on. I totally almost skipped that step. All right, so I'm holding it like this. kind of pinching everything together. So let's get the spring on. Now I have this little trick. Since these Omega springs are kind of long for the Vosteeds, you can kind of do it this way. I like to put in the hole first, like that. Alright, so let me reposition real quick. Keep that up, okay. And my other finger is kind of pushing up against the lock so I can work on this side. Okay, let's get the spring up. Okay, let me switch hands. Alright, so you put in the hole first, and then you slide it in. Boom. Easy peasies. Now if it was closer, it would be tighter and harder to really do that trick. But since these are long Omega springs, it really works really easy. So let's get to the other side and do the same trick. But you know what? We can tend to that later. Let's just put on the scale. Jeez, what's going on with that bird? Whatever that sound is. Alright, so let's get that on. Okay, let's get that short screw in. I'll get back here. I'll just put that guy in there too. So now the blade's locked in pretty good since the spring's installed. I don't have to worry too much about this blade flopping around, but I just like to hold it like this anyways. Good practice, right? Alright, cool, the liner's in well. So now, next step is, I'm going to put in the pivot screw. Alright, so I'm going to zoom up for you guys to see. So I'll just leave this spring off for now because I'm going to need and want to pull this back to relieve the tension off the pivot again. Alright, so let's pull this back out enough so then I can start sliding in the pivot. Okay, so let's put this down. Get in position. So make sure the flat side is going towards the butt end of the knife, okay? Alright. Ooh, 1 second. I gotta plug my phone in. I'm out of batteries. Alright. Alright, let's turn that. Because the D shape is facing the butt end. So I'm gonna at least get this side pushed in first. Boom, okay. It's locked in. Sometimes you might feel that click. Now, I'm gonna pull this lock back. Turn the blade up some. And then push that in. You see that? Ha! Home stretch, boys. Okay. So that's in perfectly. Now let's put in the spring on this end. Same trick. Put in the hole first. Make sure this is on the track, okay? You see that? See that track? Boom. It's getting late, guys. The owls are out. Just about done. Oh yeah, spacer, whatever. I'll do that on the side. I just at least wanted to show you guys how to put everything together. I know the whole time you guys are probably thinking, "Foo, the spacer." Whatever. We're running out of time. Running out of light. Alright, let's get that body screw in. My dudes, we're done. Alright, and with crossbar locks, I like to put the clip on, just so then I have great purchase when I when I'm using the lock. That's what I really like about the right clips, because for me at least, the grip is really important with how I fidget, how I yeah, come on. Will this be my downfall? Pocket clip, screw. All right, good. But yeah, so you guys can see it's not that bad once you guys get the hang of it. Really, I really like this tool right here. I mean, you can use whatever else you have around the house. I just use paper because it's always readily available for me. Let's see the centering. Is that good? All right. Yeah, love this piece.